But guess what? I haven't really traveled, but to I took 3 trips and been to 3 states and 1 country this year so far. And my name is Shyla Massey. I am the owner of Glistening July. We are an all things travel and hospitality company. I like to travel. I've been traveling since I was a little kid. I've done solo travel as an unaccompanied minor from the East Coast to the West Coast. And I think I'm pretty good at navigating the airport. Like, I'm not new to this. I've been doing this, like I said, since I was a little girl. And so tonight I am just on here because I ain't been on here in a long time. So I need you to subscribe, comment, like. Look, I would even share this out. Share it with somebody who like travel. So where am I going to start? I am going to start with how to find airfare. So I have a couple that I am helping with their destination wedding. And I highly recommend when you are doing a destination wedding and you have never stayed at the hotel or been to that destination with your significant other, that you need to go to that destination and you need to experience every property that you are considering. And if you have 6 properties, if you can do all 6, if you're willing to do all 6 and rotate through, hey. But if you are like, hey, I'm limited on time, these are top 2, then do the top 2. Can you go visit the other hotels? Of course. Can you arrange meetings? Of course. Your whole time while you're in this destination is for you to make sure that you make the right choice for your preferences, not your guest preferences, but for your preferences, whatever that may be. So, if you know that you're a book foodie, you need to make sure that they have sample menus available for you. So before you leave, you and your significant other need to think about what you want on your menu to feed your guests. And whatever that is, you need to have samples. You need to have samples of the cake. If they use an outside vendor, you need to make sure that that outside vendor, it provides you with a sample that you and your significant other can try. You need to stay in the property. You need to try the amenities. You need to walk the property. You need to just roam through the property. You need to sit at the beach. You need to sit at the pool. If you are alcoholic or you drink on vacation, you need to have a drink. I don't drink, so I'm not the one. If you want a mocktail, then get a mocktail. You need to make sure that every experience you have at the properties you selected for your destination wedding, it meets your needs. Like, you're happy, because at the end of the day, it's your wedding, it's no one else's wedding, and you want to be happy. So I have a couple who are doing a destination wedding and they need to go down. So the girl, I'm going to call her a girl, but she's really a woman, says to me, oh, I saw that the ticket was, we're going to say $300, right? I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't see a $300 ticket. I said, but let me check. Maybe I'm off. So I went. I did my flexible dates on my site. My site is Skyscanner. I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to use Priceline. I use Skyscanner to see where the cheapest flights are for me going from my home city to whatever destination I'm going to. So if you want to travel and you want to travel inexpensively, you need to use Skyscanner. And there are multiple ways to use it. I just saw somebody post today on the internet that you can go to the library and use their computers to find flights because it won't track you. But somebody else told me that you clear the cache. Is that how you say it? CACHE? And that'll delete your data. Well, I do that frequently anyway. So I always get good flights. So she was like, oh, yeah, I saw it on Kayak and Expedia. And I'm like, oh, I don't recommend you use those sites for purchasing flights, because if you use that site and something happens to your flight, your airline carrier is not going to take care of you. They're going to refer you back to whatever site you purchased your ticket from. So if it was Expedia, if it was Kayak, if it was a third party, so that means somebody who does not own it, is not the company's direct site, the airline carrier is going to refer you to that company for them to help you get whatever situated you need to get situated. And if I haven't learned anything else, what I learned from COVID is that you buy directly from the carrier. I don't care if it's extra. I don't care if they're charging a premium. You buy your ticket directly from the carrier. And I'm talking exclusively from the United States. I know that one of my situations that I got caught in during COVID was I bought a ticket on Hopper going from Cleveland to, I was going to Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. My flight was on United. My flight from here to Europe got canceled, but my flight from Europe to Ethiopia, Ethiopia to Dar es Salaam in Tanzania was still valid. So I had to literally request my money back. I had to stay on hold. I think I was on hold for like 13 hours. Unlike some people who didn't get their money back for their flights that they booked, I got all my money back for every flight that I booked during COVID that was canceled. All my money back. And yes, somebody might say, well, your time within itself waiting on hold, that's money right there. Yeah, but guess what? I got my money back. So the issue with this story is I know people who didn't get their money back. I got all of my money back. So um, this, I was saying that to say, when you are going on a trip, you go on Skyscanner every day and you check. I'm going from here to here. You go at random times. You delete, your cache, or I don't know how to say it, but it's CACHE. You delete that on your computer, because these people on the internet were saying they sell your information. You delete it so you can get a lower price, and you go use another device. You just search around until you get the best price. So I didn't see a ticket for $300. And lately, I've noticed when I use Skyscanner, because I had an issue with a flight that I took internationally recently, and the ticket ended up being, I was quoted $1,100 for the ticket, but the ticket, yeah, it was like $1,190, and the ticket ended up being $1,390. And the reason why the ticket was $1,390 was because there was some type of issue. I know it was with the logarithm, and it was giving me a lower price, but when I went to that site, the price was higher. And so I kept going back and forth, and finally I got it for $1,390. And then recently I was trying to cancel my flight, and I was like, well, I'll just go lower. Right now, it's not a good time. I mean, I'll just go later. Right now, it's not a good time. And the ticket was $600 to $700. Like, so if I would have waited to this month to go on the trip, it would have been $600 more. If I would have waited to July or June to go on the trip, it would have been $700 more. So of course, I don't want to pay $600 to $700 more to go on this trip, and I know I need to go now. So I ended up just going on a trip. And the country that I went to is a very cost efficient country to go to live in. Hello. So I ended up going on the trip. But again, Skyscanner is where you go to get your tickets. And when you go to get the ticket, you're just going on Skyscanner to see who is offering the lowest ticket, and does the time of that ticket meet your needs. So again, you're just using Skyscanner for information purposes only. That's it. Now, I will tell you this. Sometimes you can be on Skyscanner and you can click on Delta, and the Delta flight will be cheaper than if you go to delta.com directly. And what I mean by that is there is a link that Delta has connected with Skyscanner, because this has happened more than one time with me using Delta. And if I click through Skyscanner, I get a lower rate versus if I go directly through delta.com on a different device and I go to their website. I can even be on the same device and the ticket on Delta will be way more. So now I'm forced to go through this link through Skyscanner to get a lower price. Um, recently, did I see that on anybody else? No, I have not seen it. Well, I will say about 2 years ago, that was the case with United because I was stuck somewhere. I think I was stuck coming back from the Dominican Republic. And they told me at the airport, I was stuck in Miami, and Miami told me at the air that the ticket counter for United that they didn't have any tickets on the flight. But for some reason on Skyscanner, when I click like from Miami to Cleveland, the ticket was available for me to purchase, but that was because they were overselling the flight. So I had to go through Skyscanner and click and buy the ticket for United through Skyscanner because I couldn't go to United.com, and then the ticket counter could not sell me a ticket right then and there because they said, oh, our flight is overbooked. So I booked the ticket through United.com through a link because there was a link from Skyscanner that took me to United.com, and I was able to get on this flight because I had to get out of there and I had to get back to my building. Um, so yeah, I definitely would use Skyscanner, but when you go, just think about what your purpose is. If you're doing a destination wedding, so we're gonna go back to the wedding. Think about what your purpose is. Like, what are your purpose? How many people are coming? Because what I've noticed, I've never been married, but I've noticed that there are a lot of people who have their opinions about what you should and should not do for your destination wedding. And when it comes down to it, you have to know their intentions. Um, are they really there to support you, or are they trying to live out their own dream or fantasy because, you know, this is their opportunity and they feel like they may not get an opportunity? I don't know. But you really need to make sure that you are, just cognizant of those who you are asking to help you or assist you. And again, I'm gonna say this again, somebody probably gonna miss this, but when you are getting a ticket through Kayak, Expedia, any third party site, trip.com, if you're something happens to your flight, American Airlines, Delta Airlines, United Airlines, Frontier Airlines, they're going to tell you to go to that third party person and have them figure it out for you. I don't mess with third parties. Like, I just don't mess with third parties when it comes to my travel arrangements. I don't care who you are unless I know I gotta get here and get back. Like, I'm not doing no derails, no detours. Like, I don't even know if a derail is a word, but I do know it's a word. But I'm just not doing anything extra that prevent me from getting on this plane. Like, at all costs, I'm gonna be at the airport on time, and I'm never at the airport on time. I literally can walk through the airport. Now I done got so good at it. I walk through the airport in like 5 minutes because I have pre-check and I got clear. Actually, I got global entry and clear. So I just walk on through now. Because I was recently in New Orleans and I was like, yeah, I was afraid I was gonna miss my flight. And it was Frontier because I said I wasn't gonna fly Frontier no more. But if I didn't fly Frontier, I had to get up at either 5 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't know what was going to happen Saturday night. And I didn't want to be rushing to the airport. So that's why I ended up on Frontier. I did get my ticket from Frontier at the ticket counter. It was cheaper. I got 3 tickets for $340, I want to say. Um, I just don't like Frontier because they nickel and dime you for everything. They always trying to make money. My flight was delayed several times. I was concerned. I went to the ticket counter and I said, if I don't make my connecting flight, what is the plan B? Because I needed to be prepared for plan B. Plan A is that there'll be no issue. We'll connect. I do understand that it's a time change, time difference. And the lady was like, well, if you want to change your flight, it's going to be a fee. Ma'am, I didn't ask you that. I asked you what was plan B. If this flight don't take off, I'm going to miss my connecting flight. if it keeps getting delayed. Now, I'm okay with it getting delayed, but what is the plan B? And that's the significant difference, I would say, flying Frontier versus flying Delta, American, and United. You know what else I want to talk about? This trip I just took last weekend, Delta's customer service was top tier. I'm going to change this to a hashtag Delta. When I say they customer service impressed me, I fly everybody. I mean, everybody. I do not discriminate. But there is a significant difference between American, United, and Delta. But Delta, hands down, I was like, I may have to pay the extra price just to roll with y'all. I know y'all not always the cheapest when I'm going to look for a flight, but this customer service you offered for me and my experience with y'all during this time was like, wow, I hadn't seen that type of service since I was a little kid. And let me tell you what happened. So, several people in my family graduated last weekend. Well, one person graduated in my family, one person was supposed to, and they didn't. All they did was walk the stage. But my dad had gotten sick. My dad is 90, and my sister was trying to cancel his flight due to his illness. When we got to the gate, the red coat was like, yes, can can my father come to the ticket counter? Called his name out. I'm like, he not here. I thought my sister took care of this. And I said, oh, that person, I went up there and I said, oh, that person, that's my father. They won't be coming. They're sick. And then the red coat said, okay, thank you for letting me know. And then I thought about it because my dad has a common name. I said, well, let me go back and make sure that this is really my dad. And let me call my sister and let her know that they did call his name over the speaker to make sure that he hadn't slipped through the cracks somewhere and checked in and the system didn't catch it. So I called my sister and the red coat. I went up to the red coat and I said, I just want to confirm because my father has a common name. I spelled the name for the red coat. I gave him my father's date of birth. And the red coat from Delta said, yes, this is your father. And thank you for letting me know. I'm going to put notes in the system. I don't know if Delta will give you back your money, but I am going to note that your father is ill and that's why he didn't make, the flight. We also got the confirmation number because my sister had missed it. Nobody knew where they had placed the confirmation number because I booked all the flights, but I don't hold other people's confirmation numbers because I travel a lot. So my sister then calls. She tells me, she said, hey, I got a refund for the coming back ticket on Delta because of his illness. I'll go ahead and, talk to them about this one. Now, we had bought fully non-refundable tickets. So when she told me she got her money back on the way back home, I'm like, how you do that? Like, oh, okay. So what I learned is Delta, my father is 90. Delta does respect it's like it's a real person on the other end. And you don't see that with American. American will argue you down. Will treat you like okay, well, we can put you in a hotel and we can give you a food voucher. And if you don't use the food voucher here, I don't know what else to tell you. And United will sit there and say, well, that's your fault you missed your flight. But let me see what the next flight is so I can get you on. Right? But Delta was like, oh no, I'm going to put notes in the system for your father. I'm like, oh, okay, Delta. The one thing I didn't like though was it took them people on Delta forever to get off the plane. When I say I was like, and yes, I was in the back because again, I paid $89 for three one-way tickets going to one city. I paid, I think, $89 for three more one-way tickets going to another city. So I really don't care where you put me at because guess what? I'm traveling with two minors. And what I do know is that me and my minors got to sit together because you can't put a minor on the plane unless they unaccompanied next to somebody they don't know. So that I do know. So I don't know what to tell you. And I think one guy, they had us two and two. Hello. And I asked him, hey, can I sit in your seat and you sit over here in this aisle seat? He was like, no problem. I'm like, okay. I'm surprised he didn't give me that argument. I paid for this seat. Dude, what I'm not about to do is let you sit next to my kids. That's what you're not about to do, and they minors. I'm sorry. So somebody was gonna move somebody's seat. I do know that. But Delta, every Delta flight I was on last week, it took them forever to get off the plane. I mean, when I say forever to get off the plane, I mean forever. Like, have you never flown on a plane before? Like, is this your first time flying and you need assistance? Like, why is your bag 5 rows back and you are 5 rows ahead of your bag? Like, that means you're gonna cause a traffic jam with us getting off. It was that type of situation. But they did that. And what was the second thing? Oh, then I wanted to go standby on my second flight last weekend. And we had gotten to the airport early because my father was insisting on me arriving super duper early, even though I walked through the Atlanta airport as well within 5 minutes. And so we are going to the gate because our flight is the last flight out of Atlanta going to New Orleans. I think that flight leaves at 11:20, right? So we are on the 11:20 flight. And I was like, you know what? I wonder if we can get on this earlier flight and go standby. Because every time I'm on Delta, I always see the standby list. So I go to the little customer service. I asked the gate agent first. I said, do you think I could be standby if I'm a ticketed customer on an earlier flight? He said, I don't know, but what I do know is that you can go ask those people at customer service that you passed to come down here when you came through the TSA, and they'll let you know. So I went and I said, well, ma'am, is it possible for us to go standby on the earlier flight from Atlanta to New Orleans? It left around, we're going to say 10:40. And she was like, let me check. And she said, no problem. I put you on the list. I said, well, do I need a piece of paper? She said, no, just look for your name on the board. I'm like, ma'am, I'm not even a Delta regular, so I'm just using good old common travel sense to navigate this situation right now. But okay. All right. So we go over there and I go to the second person. I'm like, oh, she must have been mad today because this is not all the little positive Delta people I've been seeing all day. So I don't know if I'm really gonna make it on this flight, this earlier flight, because she seems upset. Like, I'm like, oh ma'am, the lady at the welcome desk or customer service desk said that I could go standby, and I just wanted to know, will we be able to make the flight? Oh, well, this is a full flight. If you see your name up there with the seat, then that means that I was able to get you on the flight. I didn't ask you that. I didn't. And you just ruined my Delta experience because you having a bad day. You want to be friendly, hee hee ha ha with the pilot. I just want to get to my destination safely, and I want this plane to carry me and my children there safely. But again, I see that this may not be possible. But okay. All right. So I think she thought that because I was black, that maybe I was going standby because I knew somebody that worked for Delta. No, I'm just going standby because I'm a ticketed passenger and I do not like Atlanta. And just don't want to stay here. I don't like New Orleans either. So I'm really trying to get there to go to sleep and to wake up tomorrow because I have some business to take care of because somebody told me at the last minute as I was going back to the airport that they may not be graduating. So, and they may not be walking the stage. And so when I get there to this graduation, I don't really know what's going on. And this has been a complete waste of my money because I don't even like Louisiana as a state in whole. I just don't. I've never have. I've been there 5 times in my life. I can accurately say that I can make a decision based on my 5 experiences there. And I don't like it. So the first time I went, it was extremely hot. It was in the middle of summer. It was July. And I was sweating between my legs as if I had peed on myself. And I looked around. I was embarrassed. I saw other people look like they would peed on themselves. I said, oh no, this is not for me. And it smelled really bad. I thought it was because Hurricane Katrina had just happened. And a local told me, no, it always smelled like that. Hello, Joshua. And so, because a local told me it always smelled like that, I'm confused on why it stank. Then I wake up and I see people spraying down the streets and on Canal Street and Bourbon Street because I guess people have thrown up and urinated all over the place. Oh, nah, this is not the place for me. Let me hurry up and get out of this hot, humid, nasty smelling city within the state. Okay. So that's the first time. Then the second time I go down there is to visit a college with my child. And we're at the college and I like the hotel. And I'm like, okay, I still don't like the city in this April because I'm sitting in a room and my hair is natural, it's no perm or nothing. I go down there with flat hair. I'm just sitting in this room. I happen to look at myself in the mirror and I look like Frederick Douglass. I really look like Frederick Douglass' daughter at that moment. And I said, oh yeah, it's not for me. Then the third time, I took that same child down there to go to school, and this child act like they didn't even know me, even though they wouldn't even been there if it wasn't for me, because I had to pay. They did get a partial scholarship, but not a full scholarship. If they would have took their butt to Hampton University, they would have gave them a full ride. So the fact that I had to pay for this, and you treat me like I'm some stranger on the street, yeah, that was an issue too. So that's the third time. The fourth time, the same child could barely walk and had an issue. And because they could barely walk, I wanted to make sure that this same child got the appropriate accommodations so that they could make it through the semester. Because hopefully, whatever they're going through will go away. That I say one day, and I flew in first thing in the morning, made sure they were situated. I flew out the next day. I was not playing. There's no reason for me to linger around in the city that I already know I don't like. Right? So that's one, two, three. Right? We visit. I go for this thing. We visit. I drop them off. I pick them up. Okay. Then the fifth time, right? I go down there for that. Then the fifth time, I'm in Louisiana, and I had this dream that I'm talking to somebody, and I realized I said, "You a witch? Oh nah, you mad because I didn't came to your state? Mm-mm. I don't do witches. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ." And there is no reason for you to come and disturb me because I ain't coming to disturb you. Now, you mad because you know there's a power within me that's greater than yours. And yeah, there's no reason for you to even come and talk to me for real. And so I couldn't sleep. I was like, yeah, it's time for me to go. Then this last time, again, this is the last time. I'm never going back to this state again. Never, ever, ever. I'm never going back to Louisiana. I don't care. I don't care if somebody paid for the whole trip. I'm not going back. It's a couple of places in my life I am never going back again. One of the places is Louisiana. There is nothing for me there. There is nothing that I need there. I'm not going to a meeting there to meet nobody. I am not going to see anybody there. I'm not buying nothing there. I'm just not. I do not want to go to Louisiana. I'm not going to a football game. I'm not going shopping. I'm not going to eat nobody food. I'm not doing nothing in Louisiana ever, ever, ever again. Period. If they say Louisiana, I'm going to say, oh, okay, well, you have fun. You let me know how that works out. Right? And the other place is Dominican Republic. I ain't never going there again. Why? Because every time I go to the Dominican Republic, I get the four S's. What is the four S's? I thought it was a joke until it happened to me. I said, oh, that don't happen to nobody. I've traveled all the time. Yes, that was me being cocky and confident. But the truth of the matter is, guess what? It does happen. I don't know if you travel too much and they like, why you all over the country? You don't have no special privileges. We don't even know who you are. You're not on nobody's elite list. Here you go. The four S's. We putting you through security. Extra security, I may add. What do you mean extra security? Wait, hold on. So I really got to be at the airport on time, because if I'm not on time, which I'm never on time for the airport, I'm gonna miss my flight because y'all decided to give me the four S's. Well, it's random. How could it possibly be random when I'm a U.S. citizen? Like, what do you mean it's random and I'm in your country? So I got the four S's in Dominican Republic twice in my life, and I got the four S's in London. That was the third time in my life. And they said, well, you were flagged. Our government flagged you. What you mean your government flagged me? I only been to London. The last time I was in London, I was 19. So how is your government flagging me and I'm now way beyond 19? So what is it that your government can see that I cannot see? So because I was flagged in London, I probably will never go back there. Anytime I get the four S's, especially the first time it happened, because I said, this is not real, it don't happen. And then it happened again. So when I went to Dominican Republic the second time, right, I didn't even get off the ship. I was on Virgin. I stayed on the ship. I was like, yeah, I ain't feeling it. I don't like the way it looked. Then when I went back the third time with my children and I got the four S's, I made up in my mind, I'm never coming back to this country again. And that's how I am. Like, there's a meeting that somebody offered me to go to, being hosted by Marriott, talking about the W in Dominican Republic. I don't even know why I signed up for it. I signed up for it because I was invited, right? But I ain't going. I am not going. I ain't going. I ain't selling nobody the Dominican Republic. I ain't recommending nobody go to the Dominican Republic. I don't like the Atlantic Ocean. I absolutely hate the Atlantic Ocean. I think it's rough. I think it just like pulls you in, makes you feel like somebody's trying to kill you, like suck you in the water on the Atlantic side. I do like the Caribbean Sea. I do like the Pacific Ocean. I do not like the Atlantic Ocean. I don't like the Atlantic Ocean in America. I don't like the Atlantic Ocean on the coast of Africa. And yes, I've been to the Senegal. I've been to the beach in Senegal, which is the Atlantic Ocean, and I don't like it. I've been to Gorée Island, which is an island off of Senegal, and I don't like it. So, yeah, no, I'm not going to London again. I've been there twice. I'm not going to the Dominican Republic, and I'm not going to Louisiana. There is no amount of money that you could pay me to go to those three states. I mean, well, I'm sorry, those three places. So I'm not going there. One state and one city and one country. Yes, they are X-nay on my list. So getting back to my trip, right? So with Frontier, Frontier was like, basically the lady was like, yeah, you're gonna have to pay if we change your flight. You can wait till you get to your next city and they can help you. Ma'am, do you know it's not another flight out of that city that I'm going to until 5:30 in the morning? So what is the plan if I miss my flight because you guys delayed the flight? Well, they'll help you over there. Ma'am, can you get a manager? Because I'm confused on why you can't answer my question. It's nothing personal. I'm just trying to plan my life. Because if there is another city I can go to that leaves from this state, I would prefer to go there because maybe I can get out sooner and get home. But I have to be home on Monday, is what I explicitly say. So we get that situated, right? And I come up, I say, okay, well, I need you to take my luggage. Oh, you don't have a check luggage. You have a carry-on bag. Huh? Yeah, you have a carry-on bag. Do you know that carry-on bag costs $75 and the check luggage costs 69? And she told me that she couldn't change it, that I had to call a number, and she politely got a card to the 800 number for Frontier for me to call so they could change it. And then when I got them on the phone, they were like, yeah, we can't change the bag because baggage has closed. I said, how baggage closed when it closed an hour before the flight and the flight is delayed? Oh no, we go by the original time, not the new delayed time. I said, yeah, that's not true. I said, I went back to he said he can't change my bag that you told me to call him for because the the baggage is closed. Baggage is not closed. It's closes an hour before the flight leaves. I told him that, but he told me he's not gonna do it. And you told me to call. And The lady is like, we'll do it. I said, well, you want to speak to him? Because he don't know who I'm talking to. So I don't know how this works. And I was like, let me put you on speakerphone so you can talk to him. And he's like, okay, they talking, whatever. But that could have been anybody I went up to. Absolutely anybody. So why am I calling y'all customer service when I'm right here in front of you looking at you and you work for Frontier? Made no complete sense, right? So because that made no complete sense, now he's telling me that, okay, he'll change the bag, right? But he's like, I'm not going to give you a refund. You ain't gonna give me a refund for the $6? Oh, okay. This is why I don't like flying Frontier, because if you want to charge me more, just charge me more. Don't tell me you a low cost, the only low cost option. And then when I get there, here you are upgrading everything. So now I didn't pay the same price that I would have paid on Delta or United or American or Southwest to fly, when that should have been the price you charged me to begin with. So that whole model that Frontier does, I don't like it. Like when I was poor and didn't have no money, I mean really, really poor, like I wasn't flying at all. I was driving everywhere with my children because I couldn't afford it. I wouldn't have paid all of that. Like I just wouldn't have paid all of that. And I mean, it's not your company. You don't have to say sorry. I flew them. I didn't. It's nothing. It's just I don't like that. I don't like being charged me up front. Like I want to spend my money. I actually enjoy going on vacation, and I don't have to spend money. Like that's the best vacation when my whole vacation has been paid for. I like that's I like vacations where everything is paid for. Food is paid for. The driver picking me up is paid for before I get there. Only thing I'm worried about is the $35 or the $40 to check my luggage, right? So that's what the type of vacations I like. Um, so he changes my bag. Then we get on the plane and the man says, there are 31 of you going to there are 31 of you going to Cleveland and are concerned about your connection. We are the flight attendants or flight staff for that flight. You will get off of this plane before we will. So you do not need to worry about if you're going to make your connection. Wait, hold on. You the flight attendant for my Cleveland flight? Why didn't the lady at the ticket counter know that you were the flight attendant for my Cleveland flight and that I was going to be okay? That would have saved me like a whole conversation that I had that I didn't need to have. Like, ma'am, the flight crew you have for your, New Orleans to Orlando flight is the same flight crew you'll have for Orlando to Cleveland. Y'all couldn't have shared that with us. You couldn't have shared that with me when I checked in. Nobody knew that. There wasn't a supervisor that was available that could educate, her staff, or a manager that could educate his staff, or that. Hey, don't worry, you're gonna be good. So now I'm on this flight and I'm like, okay, now do I trust these people? Because these are the same people who nickel and dime you for a bag. Or do I not trust these people and try to get off this plane? And I was like, I was in between. I was torn. I had some people who jumped up. I mean, we was in row 23 on the flight, and Frontier go all the way back. So if we was on row 23, would it go to 45? I don't really know. That was a joke. But but because it goes all the way back, they didn't move all the way up front. Because guess what? They got a connection. They got to catch their connection. They want to get home. They do not want to be stuck in Orlando airport sleeping on the ground, which is true. Because Frontier is not going to play no games with you when they cancel your flight. They ain't going to be like Delta, American, United, and Southwest and be like, well, here's your travel voucher for you to get a room. Here's your food voucher. Frontier don't care nothing about you. They don't care nothing about you. They don't care nothing about what you doing, what you got going on, just nothing. And so we get there, and so I had this little game with my children. I'm like, okay, what gate you think we at? we pull into 15. I'm like, are we at 16, 17? And I said, if you win the right gate, I'll get you some right. They was all off because I was off too. Because we was at at gate 10. So we pull into gate 10, we make the flight, and sure enough, that was the same crew. I was like, ooh, thank you, Jesus, we made this flight because I sure didn't want to stay in Orlando. And if I stayed in Orlando, I really didn't want to come back home. And to be honest, I got so much going on, it just would have been refreshing to have some little extra drama going on. No, I'm not that type of person. I was just saying that for jokey jokes. But yeah, it just I was like, oh, we made it through that flight. But I will not fly. I try my best not to fly Frontier. I just don't. I wish that thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So make sure you subscribe. If you've been on here this long, make sure you subscribe, you comment, you like. Yes, yes, yes. So thank you, Katina Turquoise. I really appreciate that. And so, but did you get my tip? How do I like you? I don't know how to do that. How you do that? Uh, I'll pin that. How about you're welcome? I'm gonna pin that. Oh no, you know what? I'm gonna pin this one. This one I'm gonna pin. That's the one. I subbed. Oh, thanks. Okay, so make sure if you're looking for a ticket, you go on Skyscanner. Skyscanner is your travel concourse. um Make sure you subscribe to Skyscanner. When you know what, I'm not going to even sit up here and say subscribe, but what I am going to say is that you use them to find all of your inexpensive flights. So like if you're looking for a flight, you go to Skyscanner, you compare that to what you see with everybody, um what everybody is offering. You compare that. You compare the prices. So you want to see where you're going, and you need to check Skyscanner every day, every day, every day, every day until you get a low price. I don't care whatever is low for you, because you'll be surprised, especially on a Tuesday. I've noticed that Delta has really great prices first thing in the morning on Sundays. And when I say Sundays, I mean Sundays when it's like an 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. Delta always has good prices. Now, when more people start saying this, of course they gonna change it. But you gotta be really looking for tickets to know. Like Tuesdays, yes. Sunday morning, yes. I'm telling you. And they're gonna change it up if more people catch on and they start doing like, yeah, you need to book your flight on Tuesday morning, whatever. And then now I'm gonna say this to you too. Nobody has a reason on why they can't go nowhere. Cause now you could put a ticket on a payment plan. Like you can go anywhere you want to now. You don't have to be like, well, I'm not, I can't afford it. I can't do it. You can put a ticket on a payment plan now. Like, who would have ever thought that? Now, you do need to be able to pay your payment plan, and it do go on your credit report because it is a loan, but you can put a ticket on a payment plan. Who would have thought? Um, what else? I want to go this year to Idaho, North Dakota, Washington, Oregon, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Oh no, I've been to Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Hawaii. I don't have to go until next year. And I'm missing a state because I love the United States. I think the United States is so beautiful. And when I say I think the United States is beautiful. I mean that sincerely. I was watching, it's two guys I watch. I don't even know their names. Um they're on Instagram and they on YouTube, right? And they did a special where they asked people, would you go to Vietnam, Tokyo, Australia, or San Diego, Cabo, and somewhere else, right? The guy said San Diego because that's my favorite city. I went through the comments because San Diego's my favorite city too. And people are like, how could you pick San Diego over Vietnam? And I'm like, easily. I done been to Vietnam. Like, you ain't missing nothing but buying American goods for dirt cheap. Besides that, all of them people on the motorbikes in Vietnam, I mean, all over Vietnam. Like, I don't even know how they drive in Vietnam and not be afraid of hitting someone on a motorbike. I mean, it's so bad. Even the electric cars have cameras all around them because the people on the motor scooters be up. This is the car. The people on the motor scooter is like, you see that little gap? That's how close they are to the car. And it looked like it's just like my hands look like they touching. Like if you look at them, right? Yeah, no, I ain't like Vietnam. It was the motor cars and them people on them scooters all over the place. My son said, "Thank you." My son said that he he liked Japan. I have not been to Japan. I have not been to Australia. But let's go back to San Diego. San Diego, the weather in San Diego is so beautiful. If you've never been to San Diego is my favorite city for weather, right? Because you can wake up, it'll look cloudy when you wake up, and then the sun just comes out. The breeze is so even. It's like a nice little breeze. If you have not, we went to San Diego. The very first time I went, it was the 4th of July weekend. We stayed at the Marriott Marquis on the marina and we had balcony rooms. And this lady looked at me and said, I said, well, what y'all want to do? Y'all, the girl was like, we could just eat pizza on the balcony and watch the fireworks. And I was like, no, let's go to this really expensive restaurant. It's supposed to be the best restaurant in the city. And she was like, they were like, no, let's just eat pizza on the balcony. The lady looked at me and said, how you get a balcony room? I said, ma'am, I don't know. She said, I've been coming for 5 years or 7 years, and this is the first year I've ever been able to get a balcony room. Ma'am, I don't know how I got a balcony room. And I've been talking for 48 minutes now. I'm like, I don't know how we all got balcony rooms. It's the favor of God. Like, I guess, what else you want me to say? Because I didn't tell these people I wanted a balcony room. I'm just happy to be here. Like, my company is paying for me to be here. So I'm just happy to be here. And the lady, she looked so upset. Like, it ain't my fault you've been wasting money every year trying to have that experience. And you, oh, well, I didn't know it was good for air, but for the breeze, oh my goodness, I love San Diego. I love going to Balboa Park. Um, just walking around in the park is just, it's like, oh my goodness, I love San Diego. I absolutely, if you have never gone to San Diego, you have to go, especially in the summer. I don't know what it's like any other time. I've only gone Memorial Day weekend. I've stayed at the Sheraton Gaslamp. I've stayed at the Marriott Marquis, and I've stayed at, oh, it's a Hilton. Oh, you know where else I stayed at? I stayed on Coronado. I stayed at Hotel Del Coronado too. And they put me all the way, they put me in, they put me all the way up in the attic. I was like, oh no, this black person ain't staying in the attic, baby. You gotta take me down. So yeah, they put us up, they put me and my family up in the attic and they moved our rooms. I stayed at the hotel, but it's another Hilton property, Carte. It's Carte. It's Carte. I stayed there too. That hotel was nice. The Sheraton was nice. The Sheraton was nice, but I did prefer Carte and the Marriott Marquis. Those have been my two favorites so far. Um, but my favorite city in the entire United. No, I'm not lying. I had no reason to lie to anybody um on the internet. I just have no reason. I like to travel, and I've been blessed that sometimes I have to pay and sometimes I don't. Um yeah, so I but my favorite city in the United States is DC, Washington DC. And the reason why I like DC is because there's something for everyone there. There's something always going on. Anything that you're into, anything that you like, they stop in DC. That is our nation's capital. And so I love DC. Absolutely love. So if there are two cities that I could go to every year, if there's one city I could live in, it would be DC. And if there is one city that I could go to every year, it would be San Diego, hands down. And so, yeah, I like DC. I really like DC. When I say I like DC, I just like the flow of DC. It's like you're in a major city, and the people are like the original people from DC, like they really from DC. They are so nice and down to earth. Like it's very rare you meet somebody that's just like, oh yeah. And I think because I've always had good experiences every time I've gone to DC with networking or connecting with people or just how friendly they are. And then the one reason why I like DC because the men, girl, when they like you for real. Like just never seen nothing like that in my life. Like just like they really, really like you. Like they be like, look, you look like what I like. What's your name? Can I get your number? Like, okay, wait, hold on. Let's slow down a bit. Like they know from the beginning this is what they like. Like you everything I like. Let me get your number. Like, okay, let's slow down a little bit. I wasn't raised like that. I ain't no man could be like that. Um, so yeah, I do like DC. I like San Diego. But yeah, I just really like to travel. Um, I want to go. You have a good day too. I want to go to. I want to go whitewater rafting. I've always wanted to do it, and I'm getting older, and I think this is the year I'm gonna do it. I'm just concerned because I'm getting older. Um, I've always wanted to do it, and now is the time. It has to be the time because I really should have did this when I was like 20 something, pushing it in my early 30s. But yeah, now's the time that I got to go whitewater rafting because if I don't go now, I'll probably never go. So I've been looking at the categories of the rapids and how fast they go. I'm concerned if my children will be able to handle it because several of my children don't know how to swim, even though they jump in the ocean in the sea. Like, oh, I know how to swim, girl. You do not know how to swim. I never forget. We was down in Turks and Caicos, my family and I, and we went on a boat. It was for us to swim out there and just, enjoy the water. Now, I know how to swim. My parents made sure I knew how to swim. My mother said she never knew how to swim, and she was determined to make sure that her daughter knew how to swim. So I know how to swim. I knew how to swim since I was 3 years old. So we out there, and I said, she had on her life jacket. I said, if you don't feel comfortable, let me, don't do it. She like, no, 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 I want to do it. She jumps in the sea. It's like, oh my goodness, come get me, come get me. I'm like, what? Like, and so now as her mom, I'm like hyperventilating because one of the things you learn when you have the ability to save somebody who's afraid in water is that they have the ability to kill you because they can push you down in the water as you're trying to save them. So that was going through my mind as my daughter is hyperventilating, even though I know that nothing's going to happen to her. She is hyperventilating in the water. I don't want her to die, but then I don't want to die either because she pushing me down and I'm trying to, stay afloat. So she calmed down. She took the flippers off her feet because I think that was kind of weighing her down a little bit too. Because in order to swim with the fish underneath the water, you gotta let the flippers go and move. So she did that. Oh, I'm getting sleepy because I've been on here for almost an hour talking. But she was just like, because she had that experience, and the other one was like, yeah, I ain't doing that. I'm gonna sit up here and chill out because I'm not about to be, brave and act like I know how to swim and I don't. But that is why it's so important that you need to learn how to swim. I went to Rick's Cafe in Jamaica in the grill. You would not believe the number of Americans who do not know how to swim. Not only are they drinking, but they jumping off of a cliff. And I will say now that water at Rick's Cafe, I did jump a small little cliff. And I was like, oh, this water is really buoyant. I just had never experienced that. And that was kind of interesting to me. I just never, the water, it's like it naturally pushes you up to the top. So I don't know if that's because it's salt water. And that was really like my first time, like just jumping in the middle of salt water that I just bounced to the top, or I don't know. It was just I was like, wow, it was like buoyant, very buoyant. And so I always remember that about Jamaica. Like anytime I jump in the water in Jamaica, I always remember like, girl, you gonna jump up to the, yeah, I know it's salt water, but it's just like, wow, it's like real buoyant. Like I've been to other beaches, but I've never been in the middle of the beach where, like in Turks and Caicos, that's salt water too, but it doesn't feel as buoyant as that water, meaning like, you rise to the top. It doesn't feel like that with in Turks and Caicos. Like it just in that in the grill, outside in the grill, just feel like you just gonna rise right onto, like you could jump 50 feet from the air. You gonna go down and pop right back up. Cause it happened to me in real life. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. I want to thank everybody who did subscribe. Make sure you comment. And I'm trying to find a good time to go live. Like I have another channel that talks about something completely different. And God will save you. God will give you common sense too. Just to let you know, He's gonna give you common sense. So I do not recommend you jump. I was about to talk about my other channel, but I do not recommend nobody jump in water and you do not know how to swim. That applies to my children as well. Like, why are you jumping in water outside of the United States and you have no idea how to swim? Like you just jumping in the water, like, yeah, like, no, we is not doing that. We not dying and being excited about dying because we did something that we shouldn't have did. We just not doing. No, you're not doing that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Do not jump in water and you do not know how to swim. If you jump in water, know how to swim. If you jump in water, know how to swim. If you jump in water, know how to swim. Period. I don't care if it's physical water, if it's imaginary water. I need you to know how to swim. Right? We are not doing things just because it sounds good at the moment. If you're not gonna do it in the United States, don't do it when you leave in the United States. That is my key to travel. If you're not gonna do it in the United States, don't do it when you leave the United States. That applies in all categories. Yes, but if you not, it applies to all categories, not just swimming. If you don't do it in the United States, do not do it in another country because there is nobody coming to get you if you go out to other countries. There is very few people who can afford for somebody to come get them in another country. Very, very few people. So that's why you don't do anything in another country that you wouldn't do in the United States. right? If you can do it in the United States, then go ahead. Do it in another country. That applies to all topics. But if you don't do it in the United States, do not do it in another country because you have to respect that country's rules and regulations. Don't forget that. You have to respect that country's rules and regulations. So, yeah, I'm trying to come up with a good time to go live. I'm thinking 8 o'clock every day, but my goal is to go live every day because why not? I got the experience. As you can see, I can talk. I've been on here for an hour talking. I ain't been on here this long. Oh, thank you. It's 8 o'clock where you are? Oh, so you're in Central Time. You're in Central. Well, not Central, Mountain Time. Mountain Time. Oh, no? Oh, okay. You said it was 8. You was just saying 8 o'clock here. 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So, yeah, I was thinking about going live 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But shoot, going live for an hour, that is so time consuming. And when I say it's time consuming, oh, okay. So that's Central. Well, is it 10:36 in the morning or 10:36 at night? So yeah. But oh, at night. Okay. But my favorite cities is DC and San Diego. San Diego for weather, DC for just they always have everything, everything. Um and you can always tell. It's so funny because when you talk to people, you can tell instantly how well traveled they are by what they say about various cities and various things. Um, and that's not to say that, I'm better than somebody else or somebody else is better than me, but I'm going to have to cut this short because I'm at 4% on this phone. But I will see y'all tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I don't care where I'm at, I'm going live. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to talk to y'all. Maybe 30 minutes, it may be an hour, but I got a lot to say about travel. And you have a good night because my phone is at 3% now. Thank you. Make sure you subscribe. You subscribe, you comment, you like. Go through all my videos. Oh, okay. This is what I'm going to say. Like every video you see on my YouTube page, I've actually been there and those are my videos. I'm not taking somebody else's content and using it as my own content. These are all of my videos, the videos that I have filmed and been there. Now, if you want to go somewhere and the weather that I know I talked about the weather in San Diego, but the breeze in Antigua, I hope I said it right, or Antigua. I always mess it up. Oh my goodness, that breeze. I was just sitting there. If you look at one of my videos, I'm like, man, this breeze is so good. Either I was exhausted or that breeze, and no, he said, no, it's a trail wind or tailwind or whatever you call it. That breeze was top notch in Antigua, however you say it. I went in July. At the end of July, and it was just beautiful. It was beautiful. I stayed at Tamarind Hills and I also stayed at the Veranda. I like the general manager of the Veranda. She was she was family oriented and she was guest oriented. And I'm at 2% on my phone. But I really liked the breeze in Antigua or Antigua, however you say it. And I went during carnival too. That was my very first carnival I ever attended. It was T-shirt mass. And I was shocked, like, oh my goodness. But I would recommend. Okay, so make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Like, subscribe, and comment. And again, all of the videos you see on my channel, they are my videos. I've been to these locations. I spent time at these locations. I've interacted with the people. Um, yeah, I like talking. I like meeting locals. I do. I like listening to them, talking to them. My dream is to just be able to move to a country and talk to all Americans and, you know, go to the local diner or restaurant, eat, talk to the Americans, tell them where to go, what to do, and then go back and read my book for the night, get ready for bed and do it all over again. Like that is like my dream life. It is completely my dream life. I have another dream too, but that for travel, oh, that would be a dream come true. All right, I'm at 1%. My phone is about to go dead. Have a great evening. Bye bye.